Fluffybutt. I'm gonna try and get him correct, because the first time when I did not get him correct at all. And like you can see, McMurphy's completely gone. Despite our character being dead, we cannot romanticize him again. Meow! I'm not sure what to expect. I came to the forest with Fluffybutt for what I assumed would be a pleasant place to spend my afternoon off work, but I have now discovered that he's bullying it as an informative afternoon of instruction and practical participation. That sounds suspiciously like a lecture to me. Oh well, as Professor Popper would say, scientists must keep an open mind. This is something I would normally do alone, but you strike me as a like-minded soul, interested in both gastronomic and anatomic pleasures. Perhaps now would be a good time to lay down the blanket I asked you to bring. Don't want to put that tender skin of yours under duress. I lay the blanket on the ground awkwardly and wonder where he's going with this. Relax, Mandy, this doesn't usually take very long. Suddenly, without warning, there's a loud plop as a bird plummets out of the sky onto the blanket. Told you so. Oh my, it's dead. It's a doornail. But what happened to it? Just a force field, of course. Now enough foolish questions, Mandy. Let's get started, shall we? Just like the lectures from my uni. What exactly are we doing here, Fluffybutt? Told you, don't use that ridiculous name. I prefer Major, if you please. What exactly are we doing here, Major? This is my little surprise. I'm a bird fancier. Oh, and you fancy your birds dead? Quite. It's all the better to practice my other pursuit. I know I'm going to regret asking this, but what pursuit would that be, Major? I'm a self-taught pathologist. You mean as in post-mortem? Somewhat rudimentary, don't you know, but I can now find my way around the innards of the average seagull with remarkable dexterity. Yes, well, whatever floats your boat. I'm interested in crossword puzzles myself. Not everyone's cup of tea, but it occupies a wet afternoon. Okay, back to the task at hand, Mandy. I shall now begin the autopsy. Keep your wits about you. There will be questions at the end. Aha! I knew this was a lecture. Fluffybutt pings out a razor-sharp claw and begins going to town on the bird. Incision from sternum to base. On first examination, the skeleton appears to be typical. I note there is no break in the neck, indicating that the force field rather than the fall killed the bird. Feel rather queasy? Oh, really? Yes. Point of interest. Sometimes the initial zap the bird receives from flying into the force field merely stuns them, and it is the impact of the fall which provides the fatal blow. This chap, however, appears to have suffered cardiac arrest. You can see from the size or lack thereof of the heart that even a minor jolt could be enough to induce seizure. Having removed the tiny organ, Major has now begun digging around inside the carcass as though rummaging in a lucky dip. Now removing entrails for further examination. Oh, do get a better look, Mandy. It's rather revealing. I can see something in the stomach sac. Stomach sac? Looks like... Oh my! It's gold! Our lucky day, Mandy. Here, have a look. It's some kind of nugget. No thank you, Major. I'm not in the mood for playing with the contents of Seagull's stomach. Don't be ridiculous. This is not a game, Mandy. May I remind you that we are in the middle of a very serious post-mortem, and I expect you as my assistant to maintain professionalism. My stomach is doing flips as I hold the object between thumb and forefinger. What is this thing? It's so small. It kind of looks like a... Cripes! It's a tooth! Major, it's a gold tooth! Ah, good find! You're natural. I can't help but wonder why a seagull would have a gold tooth in its stomach. Presumably, Major, this is from the mouth of a human. I think you're probably right. So, how did it get in this seagull? What an inquiring mind! You would make an excellent apprentice. If you like, I could pass on you to the skills I have acquired. That would be a feather in your cap, eh? I resign myself to the fact that he's not going to be drawn into speculation. Okay, well, I'll bear that in mind, Major. I don't have the heart to tell him that I came atop of my class in veterinary surgery. And now to the victor, the spoils! Don't be shy, already carved. Oh, gosh, do you mean? Of course, tuck in. We won't stand on ceremony here, it's good one too. Plenty of fat. Have to think fast, do I really want to eat raw seagull carved up by a cat on the forest floor? Last time I tried this option, so I'm just gonna reverse every single option that I took. There's no way that's going to happen. I don't want to hurt his feelings, but equally I can't afford to be laid up with salmonella poisoning through people-pleasing. Cat-pleasing, even. Oh no, silly me, I didn't realize we were having lunch and night before coming out here. Well, just a taste then. Oh Major, tempting as it looks, I simply couldn't touch a single bite. Nonsense, Mandy, I insist. I would feel a very poor host indeed if my guest refused my hospitality. Oh no, this is going to be harder than I thought. Fluffybutt is standing in front of me, presenting what looks like to be a tiny liver on the palm of his paw. Need to think fast. Oh, that's my catalog. Can't hear any. It's on vibrate. Professor's calling. What bad timing. Can you believe it? I'm going to have to head off. But our feast? Such a shame. So sorry. Please do go ahead without me. Oh, another time then. I'm tempted to make excuses, but notice the eager look on his little face and feel a pull on my heartstrings. Yes, without a doubt, another time. Then I toast your health. The Major pops the liver into his mouth and starts cat chewing its very unattractive way. I realize I'm staring and catch myself. Enjoy! Bon appetit! Bye! Make a swift and graceless retreat. All I know is that the last time I scored 1 heart out of 3. So this time, if we just reverse all of my decisions, we'll score 2 out of 3. Unfortunately, I legitimately have no idea which one I did wrong the last time. Fluffybutt is really hard to read. I think the pigeon one I might have done right the last time, or not this time. I don't know. And of course, it's the first time for you folks. Do hold your hands still, Mandy. I can hardly see a thing with you shaking like that. I hold the binoculars stable in front of Fluffybutt's tiny cat face. It looks ridiculous. It's like you're not even trying, Mandy. You're shaking like a leaf. My hands are totally steady, Major. Ever consider it could just be your eyesight? I've have you know, I have keen eyes of a goat. Goats aren't exactly known for their vision, Major. That's just because the world is full of ignorami. Well, what can you see? I can only see a couple of kneelers lazing around, of course, scratching at their fleas. Filthy things, I tell you. Aha! What? One of the bigger ones is emptying its bladder. That could mean that they do eat and drink on a regular schedule. And if we were able to find out where their water supply is, we could lace it with mild sedative and bring the incapacitated sample to the beach and... Please don't finish that sentence. No cats will be harmed during this mission. Oh, please, the subject will not be harmed. Just slightly bewildered, for a day or two. But why, Major? Well, to examine it for a start. And I should like to see how they react when one of theirs goes missing for a chance. Major, I only agreed to help you with this one on the promise that you will not attempt to extract any kind of retribution on the elders. Examination is one thing, but if you can't keep your end of the deal, then I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to withdraw. Okay, I'll just observe. I replaced the binoculars in front of Fluffybutt's keen goat eyes. Well, what do we have here? Found something? I do believe I have. There's a few elders here who seem to be meditating. Meditating? Are you sure they're not just sleeping? Take a look, will you? Tell me they aren't meditating. I adjust the binoculars to suit my eyes and I'm quite taken aback by what I see. Fluffybutt is right. The cats aren't sleeping. They are sitting in a circle around what is by far one of the stranger landmarks on the island, a large state of Bastet. Professor Popper has always dodged my questions about what on earth statue of Egyptian cat goddess of war is doing on this island. I'm even more intrigued now. The cats seem to be listening or contemplating or even meditating. Well, Major, I'm sure there's a perfectly good explanation for their behavior. Cats often behave quite strangely, I've found. Well, there's strange, and then there's strange. And my experience teaches me what type of strangers that this class are afflicted with is beyond acceptable. I believe the only way to protect us is a total disassociation. Major, do you hear yourself? We're here practically trespassing on their territory so that you can spy on them while they're doing whatever it is that they're doing, and you want dissociation from them? One must know one's enemy, Mandy. How are they your enemy, Major? They've never done anything to you. Oh no? Those meowlers are wholly responsible for the problems of this cursed island. And it's about time that they were held accountable. They are the carriers of the cat virus. If it weren't for them, you wouldn't be afflicted with the illness. Oh, is that so? Because I distinctly remember it was you lot who got me deliberately put in danger in the first place. The elder cats are just cats. Just cats, eh? Oh, I see. I realized what I've just said, and although I didn't intend it the way the Major has taken it, I can see how wounded he is. I feel conflicted. On one hand, I want to take a stand against his bigotry. It is not helping our progress, and I believe it may end up ruining our friendship. On the other hand, I know he has a good heart. As Trixie says, he's just stuck in his ways, and it would be wrong of me to start pushing my views onto him. Perhaps I can lead by example and practice a little more tolerance myself. I'll stand up for what I believe in. You know exactly what I mean, Major. Don't add me to your list of enemies. Oh no, you're not my enemy, Mandy. I'm just very disappointed to find out that you are as gullible as the others, believing those creatures to be harmless, that we ought to embrace them with open arms. Those creatures. Major, please. You must stop this ridiculous thinking, or I may have to disassociate myself from you. Oh, really? I do not understand how such a seemingly intelligent human being can be so narrow-minded. I could say the very same thing about you, Major. Me? Narrow-minded? Never heard anything more ludicrous. I have a voracious appetite for knowledge. For the things that interest you. Well, yes, but isn't that the case for all of us? As a scientist, I need to explore beyond what I want to know, beyond what suits my sensibilities. Well, here I am, Mandy, exploring what I don't like one bit. Has a smug look on his face and is very annoying. Have you ever tried communicating with the elders? Fluffybutt scoffs loudly. Those Muellers do not share a language, Mandy. How exactly do you expect me to communicate with them? The very notion is laughable. Oh, is it? Here I am, Major, a human having a two-way with somewhat intelligent discussion with a cat. Is that laughable too? Fluffybutt goes on characteristically quiet. Since I've hit a nerve and decided to retreat. Perhaps we're going to have to agree to disagree on this one, Major, or we'll fall out entirely. Quite. Thank you for joining me today, Mandy, but I can manage from here. Your assistance is no longer required. Oh, okay, Major, I'll just put your binoculars here there, shall I? As you wish. Place them on a little patch of grass and step away. Fluffybutt eyes them and I watch his expression change as his dilemma dawns on him. He decides not to attempt using them while I'm watching. I'll leave you to it then. Yes, thank you, but I'm fine now. I shall be doing other reconnaissance and I'm better off alone. Feel bad for him and don't want us to part on an argument. I'm on feeding duty today. I'll keep something back for you. Come and find me later when you feel hungry. Thank you, Mandy. Good afternoon. Clearly going to take a while to get over this and I don't want to make things worse, so without saying another word, Tabby and I part ways. As I make my way back to the camp, I go over what happened between us, wondering if I could have handled Major better. Although I may have hurt his feelings, I feel satisfied that tough love was the right way to go. There's no way our friendship could progress without honesty and respect. I have every faith in him, and that he'll come by later when his stomach's rumbling. Okay, need not to forget to sleep. That's very important. There are waves crashing. The sound is so loud I can't make myself be heard, but I still scream to the life raft that's moving away from the sinking ship. I'm going down with the ship. I'm being trashed against the sides of an old wooden vessel. This isn't right. The ship looks wrong. A cat's face looms close up to mine. Everything is wrong, all of it. Which cat are you? But the words come out of my mouth as mewling, and I realize I'm not myself. I'm some kind of beast. Suddenly I'm flying. I'm in the claws of some enormous birds. The beating wings are deafening. I look down to see the ground approaching really fast. You can't drop through the beak. What does that mean? What break? What break? Breakfast, rice and chai. Yeah, you get really very weird dreams sometimes. Fluffybutt. We've been walking for ages, Major. Don't have much longer before they expect me to be back. Almost there, and needs to be as close to the danger zone as possible to deter snoopers. Few cats and even fewer humans come this far out, which ensures that my deposits are safe. Deposits? This is an act of trust, you understand. I believe that a recent disagreement and resulting reconciliation has made our bond of camaraderie stronger than ever, and I would like to solidify our union with the sharing of something quite private and important to me. I feel slightly awkward and mumble incoherently in response. Yes, well, what past is past, water under the bridge and all that. I'm delighted, though, that you have reviewed and modified some of your stronger opinions, Major. Updated your map, so to speak. Indeed, though for the record I'm still uneasy about the elders, but I grant that finding a way to speak with them might provide more insight than I had assumed. Well, we really are on the same page now, Major. We come to a halt. I can smell the pungent scent of the elder cats. Not been this close to them since the first night, and it makes me uncomfortable, but I feel surprisingly reassured to be with Fluffybutt. This is it. We must be completely silent now, so you will have to cease that unattractive sound you're making. I'm out of breath, Major. I can't help it. What I'm about to show you has taken a long time and a lot of effort on my part. If anyone else should get wind of this whereabouts or even its existence... Yes, okay, Major, I get it. I swear that most prestigious of my pinky promises that I will not utter a word to anyone about whatever I see today. Fluffybutt seems satisfied and makes an effort to straighten himself out before motioning towards a large tree. This, my dear, is my treasure. Oh my goodness, what a handsome tree you have there, Major. Very tall and proud looking. Congratulations. Oh, for goodness sake, come over here. Fluffybutt leads me around the enormous tree to its hidden side, which has a large hollow in it that looks like it leads to a tunnel. Good God, man, are you digging an escape route out of here? What on earth are you twittering about? Use your eyes more and your mouth less, my dear. I noticed then that hidden in the dark recess of the tree is the outline of a large object, which my eyes won't allow me to see clearly. What is it, Major? Don't be shy, Mandy. Get in there and have a proper look. I have no choice but to crawl into the cavity for closer inspection. Run my fingers over the item and deduce that it's made out of old, splintering wood and has cold metal adornments on either side. I use them to drag it out of the tree, and in half-light I am somewhat unsurprised to see that it's an old-fashioned treasure chest. I would expect nothing less from the Major. Fluffybutt is looking at me expectantly. Well, open it, my dear. You needn't worry about the lock, it's quite broken. I do as instructed. Oh my giddy aunt, Major, how on earth? The chest is full to the brim with all sorts of shiny things. Jewelry, gems, coins, trinkets, ornaments, baubles, and all manner of curios. Fluffybutt lets out a low laugh. Allow me to regale you, human, with my vast adventures and conquests. Settle down and allow Major's voice to wash over me as I play with some items of flippery from the chest. Ah, that coin you're holding! That's a very interesting story attached to that. Do you know how old it is, Mandy? I do believe the date on it should be legible. I remember the night I found it. Gone for a walk along the beach, it was blistery and dark. I feel the first time how exhausted I am. The walk has sapped me of all energy. And as I fought with the elements, I look ahead and notice the sky is much darker. I'm lying down, although I don't remember doing so. Valiant and victorious, the thunderous applause. I hear a low grumbling sound. Thunder? And the flashing behind my now closed eyes. Surely it's a storm, but there is no rain. That's odd. No wet, just warm and dry and hard to breathe. And I bellowed defiantly, "You cannot have them!" But the Muellers were already in cycling. I should really get up now. Seems my eyes won't open. That's a pity. As I bit into the still beating heart, I do believe I'm paralyzed. That is a shame. I try to move my fingers. Nope. They're not listening to me. Wake up! We have to get you out of here this instant. Up you get. That's it. Come on. As I come to, the world looks dark and distorted. I must be walking because trees are passing my line of vision. My hands hurt. I look down at them and they're pressed firmly to the earth and one moving in front of the other. I must be crawling? I don't know how much time has passed, but I wake up on the sand. I inspect my blistering hands. Fluffybutt is sitting next to me, facing the sea. Did I dream all that? Oh, you're awake. No, I'm afraid you weren't dreaming. What happened? It was my fault. I took you too close to the danger zone. In your current state, you couldn't handle it. In my current state? Your feline transformation is still in its early stages. It seems to be progressing particularly slowly in you. So I'm still very vulnerable to the effects of the Elder territory. Quite. I was foolish. Didn't think I was too interested in myself, my stories, my treasure to protect you properly. Please forgive me. You put me in danger. So even though you knew I was at risk, you still brought me to the danger zone. I'm ashamed to say that that's true. But why? I thought we were friends? Indeed we are, Mandy. In fact, therein lies the answer. I value your friendship highly and I wanted to impress you. So you thought you'd do that by having me poleaxed? Interesting. I fear I've been rather foolish. Well, I'm not gonna lie. I'll leave. Turns to go so quickly that I almost have to shout after him. Hang on a minute, you don't get away that easily. The forlorn-looking cat slinks back towards me. For future reference, I'm not so superficial as to be impressed by a few stories, engaging though they were. Fluffybutt's ears perk up a little. What impresses me about you is how much you've been willing to change your old ideas, how much effort you made to challenge some of your opinions. We have covered a lot of ground, you and I have my utmost respect. By now the Major has completely regained his composure and is obviously gagging to chip in, so I let him speak. Do you really think so? Yes, you're becoming a very open-minded cat. Actually, I meant about my stories. Huh? I believe engaging was the word you used. He looks so pleased with himself that I decided to let him have it. Engaging is the word I meant. In fact, I'm going to lay down here in the sand for a moment and rest while you retell your stories to take my mind off the throbbing headache. Well, if you think it would help, far be it from me to deny you, my friends, some comfort in the time of need. Settle down, Mandy, and I shall begin. Curl up into a ball in warm sand while Fluffybutt's voice washes over me. Drift off into sleep and dream I'm a cat. That was definitely the right choice this time. I rushed out to the forest on Fluffybutt's insistence that I meet him at the location of his treasure chest. After the incident, we called on McMurphy and Kibbles to help us drag it to a new spot further away from Elder territory. Major, are you okay? I was in the middle of preparing lunch when I received your urgent summons. Quite. I was pawing through my collection just now and I couldn't help but reflect upon some of our adventures. Oh, so you dragged me away from the kitchen to reminiscence? Indeed. I have grown rather fond of our expeditions together. I do seem to find more unique articles when you accompany me. You've trained me well, Major. Any advancements I've made in the treasure hunting field is entirely thanks to you. Yes, I mean, no. You have a natural ability. Rather impressive. You flatter me, Major. Not at all. I'm a fair cat, and it's in my belief that good work deserves just reward. Reward? Indeed. And so I felt it would be only right to let you keep an item from my inventory so that you may start a collection of your own. That's too kind of you, Major. I'm touched. Yes, well, let's have a look, shall we? You may choose whatever you like, my dear, absolutely anything. I peek into Fluffybutt's treasure chest. All the gems and bits of precious metal sparkle and glint in the sunlight. I gently move some of the more bejeweled trinkets out of the way and dig deep for good stuff. Whoa! I grasp a red gem almost the size of my fist. I wonder if it's a ruby, but before I can begin to examine it, Fluffybutt has swiped it away with a paw. No idea what that is doing in there. I think I see how this is going to go. Anything else, Mandy? Whatever you like. How about this? I entangle a string of pearl, creamy and iridescent, clearly very good quality, even to me untrained eye. Fluffy looks uncomfortable. Yes, they're rather special, aren't they? I do have a particular fondness for them. I let him off the hook as my eye catches sight of something dull and cheap looking. Major, what on earth is this? The filthy bottle sticks out like a sore thumb amongst the shiny baubles Fluffy usually likes to collect. Oh, that! Heavens, I forgot all about that. It might suit you. If you shake it, you will hear something rattling about in there. I do believe it contains a note or a script of some kind. He's selling it to me. Silly, really? I did get it into my head to find a way to open that bottle, but the cork is wedged in tight. I choose this to start my collection, Major. Really, that old thing? But I can tell he's absolutely delighted. Yes, and I have an idea how to open it. Go on, you have my attention. I whip up my apron and loosely wrap it around the bottle, then smash it unceremoniously against the side of a tree. Good gracious, Mandy, how lively of you. I have a feeling the real treasure is this. I carefully picked parchment from amongst the shards of glass and cast a cursory eye over the faded scribbles. Genuine message in a bottle. This could fit so many blanks about the history of this place. A piece of paper? Oh, Major, this is not just a piece of paper. This is better than anything I could have hoped for. Well, if that's what you deem to be treasure, then please be my guest. Thank you so much, Major. I grinned from ear to ear. I must go now, though. I'm late for lunch today. I excitedly kissed Fluffybutt on his furry head before dashing back to the base. Recon unlocked! Or rather, recon. Either way, actually we're okay, we don't need to sleep. So let's do the recon, then let's finish the romance. The ink is surprisingly well preserved. The only obstacle to my understanding of the letter is deciphering this scrabbling scribble. Some words I can make out. Punished God and presumably the signature at the bottom, Bell. I can make out some other words, but they appear to be badly misspelled, or possibly not even English, but some other hybrid language. Maybe colloquial? I spent an hour or two through it and feels much longer attempting to translate each character and syllable into my notepad. I obsessively write and rewrite words until a sentence takes shape, and I am eventually left with something quite legible. Once I'm satisfied that each word is correct and each sentence has meaning, I read it through from beginning to end. To whoever finds this bottle message, we have been cursed, we've been judged for our sins, we wrecked on the rocks. Couldn't tell where we be, but I think it is hell. The cats, they're everywhere, and they won't forgive us. They know what we have done. My guts burned for food, I had no choice, I had to eat it. I regret it now, God help me I do. Now I am cursed and the boys are too. The cats are eating us slowly from the inside. It burns more than hunger, it burns me rotten. They stare at me all the time with their yellow eyes. They know what we've done. We're getting retribution, justice. God help me, I pray for death. If you find yourself in the path of the infinite island, turn back. Don't do what we've done. Leave them. This is their island. I need my little Lucy to know I love her. I'm sorry, Petal. Bill. I've read it again, and then again. But it seems that the more I read it, the less it makes sense to me. Wonder if reading it loud might help me understand like in school. They have been cursed. So their ship crashed and they survived. I'm not sure if they're very lucky or very unlucky. The cats won't forgive us, we had to eat. My skin prickles with goosebumps. Who knows what lengths anyone might have to go to in order to survive. I'm sure I'm capable of a lot more than I like to believe. Sat here in the comfort of my tent, but this? My stomach turns at the thought of it. I think I understand what Bill means, but the next part is less clear and still more disturbing. They're eating us from the inside? Like food poisoning? The thought of that is bad enough. I've eaten a few dodgy prawns in my time. Shudder at the memory, but I can't help thinking he means something else, something worse. Surely the place Bill is talking about is here, this island. The Infinite Island? Never heard anyone refer to this place as the Infinite Island before. Most people call it Cat Island, or the Verlottern Island formerly. Perhaps the crew were the first humans to step a foot in this place. How long have the cats been here anyway? This ladder is at least good 100 years old, and the cats were pretty well established then by the sound of things. The cats in this note must be the elders. Suddenly feel another pang of sympathy for Bill and the crew. Know how frightening the elders can be. I decide not to tell Fluffybutt about the contents of his gift, but only add to his paranoia. I instead promised myself that I would look into this further another time. AKA never! We has to have a good night's sleep, yes? You had a lovely nap. If I calculated this right, Fluffybutt still should at least like me this time around. Fluffybutt has asked me to accompany him to the beach because he wants to share some thoughts with me. As usual, I have no idea what he may be devising. He has asked me to sit comfortably on our blanket and is now standing in front of me with a piece of paper wedged between his front paws, endlessly clearing his throat as though he's about to make a speech or spit a hairball. It is often the case, at last, that an auspicious occasion, a speech may be required to honor the affair. Ah, speech, not hairball. Today I feel it fitting that I deliver a brief address to mark the importance of the new moon anniversary of my first meeting the person who has changed irrevocably the course of my life. My dear, I am a cat of rhetoric and proud of it. My verbosity is remarked upon throughout the island, and yet I have felt the need to scratch a few words onto this paper in case my wealth and intellect shall fail under the duress of my sentimentality. And I find myself unable to express adequately the dictates of my feline heart. Indulge me for a moment as I grapple with that most elusive of emotions, love, for that is the matter at hand. What is love? Loyalty, respect, alliance, support, cooperation, and mutual trust. There is no better way to show love, whether it is for a king and country or cream puff pastry, than with a proud and loud declaration of humble Fluffybutt peeks at his scrap paper. He holds the paper up to his good eye. Blast my handwriting! Fluffybutt crawls the paper to shreds. For goodness sake, Mandy, what I mean to say is that I love you. And whether or not you love me of no consequence, I am not expecting a response. I only wish you to know my feelings. Understand that yours for me may not be the same, but I request without prejudice or expectation that you end my limbo with a response. We're gonna say that we love Fluffybutt too. Aw, Major, of course my feelings are the same. You have my unequivocal respect, allegiance, and love. Goodness, we're even starting to sound alike. Oh my, I wasn't expecting that. I honestly don't know what to say. Don't say anything, just come here. The large tabby launches himself into my arms, and we share a long and slightly scratchy hug. Well, we have one thing left to finish here, so let's do it. Yes, I am indeed ready. So we have a lot of choice for research because we haven't done any last time. Poor Socks doesn't seem to be getting any better. I'm worried about Socks. None of the treatments so far seem to be clearing up his wound. Cream 116 hasn't helped one bit. In fact, my gut feeling is telling me it may be the cause of the deterioration. The entire side is now swollen and too sore to touch, even with a soft cotton pad. I decide to ask the professor for his advice. Sorry to disturb you, sir, but I need advice on Socks. Send pic, please. Snap a picture on my catalog and send it to the professor. Yes, that does look nasty. Have you tried Cream 116? I did. Site worse. Swollen and inflamed. I suggest persevering. Cream 116 can take a while, but will pay off. I feel doubtful, but I resign myself to Professor's seniority. If unsatisfied, try steroid formula in the fridge. Red bag. I rummage around the fridge until I find the red bag behind the box of vitamin supplements. Got it. Thank you for your help, sir. I pour the milk into a small bowl and relieved that Socks seems to like it. I sit with him as he laps it and keep an eye on him for a while. After an hour, I'm satisfied that he's sleeping happily and all his vital stats are normal. I've come to the forest to gather my thoughts. This morning I noticed another change in my appearance. Up until now it's been easy to cover up my transition. I just had to keep on top of removing the excess body hair. Even the stub of a tail that appeared a few days ago hasn't been a problem. Who would see it? But this new development is definitely a turning point. How am I going to explain the fact that my pupils have turned into vertical slits? I can't risk anyone seeing me like this, so I'm gonna hide it out for a while and see what happens. Sometime later. I'm lazing in the midday sun when my nap is interrupted by the familiar sound of ferry arriving at the pier. It seems my replacement has already arrived. Stretch and roll on my back. Wonder what the professor's new assistant will be like. Hopefully they'll be a bit less naive than you were. Major wrinkles his nose, seemingly disgusted by the memory. Was I really that naive when I first arrived here? Afraid so. Really? I don't remember much about it. Oh yes, you were quite exuberant. It was really rather charming. He grins at me playfully. I scoff and then roll on the sand and smile at my sweet Major before closing my eyes for a midday nap. I don't regret what happened to me. Not for a second. I'm happy here with my family, my tribe. It was a struggle at first, making the decision to let it all go, give up on the antidote and the idea of rehumanization. Falling in love was a great contributor to my decision-making, as the fact that no one else seemed very motivated. Suppose being a cat just kinda gets you in the end. Now I wouldn't consider any other life. My only worries is that days are deciding when to eat and which particular part of this paradise island to sleep in. So much choice. And of course staying out of the hands of that research team. Not that that's a problem for us. Look out for one another and we know where to hide. I slink my tail over to Fluff and hook it around his tail. Happy days. that until your memory starts going, because, you know, you can't keep all your memories in the cat brain. But yes, when we continue, we're gonna try some funny stuff, like not romanticizing a cat at all, or saying that we're not gonna help them, so when we continue.